Hello there.
Stewart, Charlie, Jeff Brown from BBC Stewart Donald. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
First question is why Sunderland?
Well, it's Sunderland. Simple as that. As soon as I was aware it was available, as soon as you get into the detail, you've just got to try and see if you can get the deal done. And luckily for me, that's what's happened. But I don't think if you're passionate about football and Sunderland Football Club comes on the market and you're available to have a football club, you got to think seriously about it. So luckily it's me. Yeah.
When did the deal finally go through?
About 20 minutes ago. It was last night. It all got finalised. The league obviously approved it on Friday. We had a couple of little details just to tidy up. Nothing that was ever going to be an issue, and that's all done. And here we are now.
Can you tell us how it all came about? Did you approach Ellis Short, or was he?
That was Charlie.
No, I've known Ellis for a while, and I spoke to Ellis about 5 weeks ago. He said that he was looking to sell. That was no great secret. But the moment had come, he said he had decided to sell by the end of the season because he felt the club really needed to have a full summer with the new owners, and he didn't want to let the situation drift. He felt that a couple of the groups he was speaking to, the situation was drifting, and I said that I had the right guy to take it over. And from there, things moved pretty quickly. We had 2 or 3 weeks to do the due diligence, and that all went smoothly. It was hectic to do an exercise that complex in 2 or 3 weeks. There are a lot of all-nighters and a lot of very tired lawyers by the end of it. But we got through it. Ellis Short has been extremely constructive throughout and has really tried to help us get it over the line, in the timescale that he indicated. The last couple of weeks have been dealing obviously with the Football League approval process and tidying up a few loose ends apropos of the details surrounding the club.
Lots of figures being bandied about. What can you tell us about the deal?
Well, we've given Ellis £40 million, so that's the deal price. And in return for that, Ellis has organised, his debt he's tidied up, and that's now gone for the football club. And that's not ported to us or anything like that. I think in some of the other deals that was planning to port across, Ellis was very clear that he didn't want the debt, but we didn't want the debt either. So we refused that benefit. Which is it's a paper tax benefit, but nonetheless it leaves Sunderland with that debt. So we said to Ellis, no, that's fine. You wipe it, we won't take it. So the reality of it is Sunderland is debt free, which I would think hopefully for the fans is and everybody concerned is good news.
I mean, just to be quite clear on that, there is an immediate this summer. People who follow the Sunderland situation closely will understand that there is a considerable cash requirement this summer. So the discussion with Ellis was that we would be able to pay him over a period of time because he knew that we were going to have quite a lot of investment that needs to be made this summer in making sure the situation is as clean as possible. But fundamentally, as Stuart said, the price is £40 million and Sunderland will end up debt-free.
So how much money will you be able to generate for transfers to try and get the team out of League One?
Well, as much as is needed, I would hope, because the reality is in League One the transfer fees aren't large. Looking at the numbers that we put through, the budget for Sunderland is going to be pretty hefty for League One. It's going to be a lot more, I would imagine, than any of the teams that got promoted last season have got. So, we can generate what funds we need for that. Obviously, there's, as Charlie's mentioned, there's quite a huge discrepancy between the remaining player income in relation to transfer sales and going out. So obviously that needs funding, which we've committed to fund, of course. So we then tidy up that situation, so that's fine, that leaves us neutral. And then basically, we're looking at the playing budget, of which there'll obviously be transfer fees involved in the players that we bring in. And that's going to be, that's going to be a good budget for Sunderland, and I'm sure it'll be a budget that 1 or 2 championship clubs would like.
And when can we expect to see a new manager?
Very soon, I hope. I mean, we're obviously going to start looking through that process, and we would hope, I would think, probably 7 days maximum.
Yeah,
I would think, before we've got a new manager. Obviously, we got to move because we need the manager to have as much of the summer as possible to assemble the squad he wants and assess what he's got. So I would be very surprised if by the weekend we're not able to sort of tell you who that will be.
I mean, the reality is, as you'll understand, that you can have notional conversations with people, but until you've taken the football club over, they are notional conversations. Now the situation changes, and Stewart will be in a position to have, what I'd call serious conversations with the candidates.
Stewart, it was said initially that you were part of an international consortium. Can you tell us any more about that?
Yeah, I mean, the story of the last 4 or 5 weeks has been interesting, because what became clear very early in the process was that the timescale was getting very crunched, and that anything that delayed the process of the takeover was going to have a material impact on this summer's business. So we took advice from contacts of ours in and around the game and at the Football League, etc. And what became clear was that the process would be quicker and more straightforward if the club was simply taken over by Stewart. Now, there are other people that we both have in mind who have further capital, further contacts, I should say, that we think could be useful for Sunderland going forward. And there are people who've expressed an interest to Stewart and me in having a stake in the club going forward. But Stewart will be the majority shareholder, whatever happens. So it may well be in future that people arrive and bring added expertise and capital to our group. But at the moment, it's Stewart and to a lesser degree me.
Stewart, I think everybody in football would recognise the opportunity that a club like Sunderland gives you, but in perhaps housing terms, it's a bit of a fixer-upper at the moment. You're not walking into an easy job, are you?
No, it'd be good fun. There's a lot to do, yeah. And that's part of the challenge. So we just get our teeth into it, yeah. There's a lot to do, clearly. 2 relegations. I think you can tell from the fans that, that they just want the football club to be successful and to really feel part of it, and you get a bit of a sense they don't quite feel like that at the moment. So there's a lot to do with the fans. There's obviously going to be a lot to do with the community, a lot to do with the playing squad, it's a big job, but I'm not scared of that.
No, I mean the bottom line is we're both very much roll your sleeves up people, and Ellis has been largely an absentee owner. I don't think that's a controversial thing to say. I don't think he would deny that. That will not be the case with us. We will be very hands-on. Both of us create and run businesses and like to get involved in all aspects of it. I'm not saying we're going to be picking the first team, but other than that, you'll see us out and about quite a lot, doing a fair amount. Now, the bottom line is that this summer there needs to be a turnaround. And it's not just a sort of a notional turnaround, it's also a turnaround of culture as well. This is an organisation that's been used to failure for too long. Over the last 10 years, this club's lost more games than any other club. So there's a real proper job in its hands to try and get everyone facing in the same direction and ready to be successful again.
Can I ask, how much did you gentlemen have to do with the departure of Chris Coleman?
Nothing at all. That's completely Ellis. Ellis's situation with regards to all of the business prior to us being involved is down to Ellis. Ellis wanted to make sure the football club was tied up in loads of areas for us, and he
for us or whoever else it might have been.
Yeah. So the reality in that scenario is everything he's done. It's only up until now that this is when you'll see us now take charge of the football club, and you'll see the impact that we have.
You're actually sat there. The previous owner decided that was not something he would do, sit in front of the media or engage very much with the fans. Is this something you intend to continue? For example, I know that you plan to do a podcast later on, that kind of thing. The football club is for the fans. So they want to know what's going on in their football club. So if I don't tell them what's going on, they're not going to know. So I would imagine, especially in the early period, there'll be lots of questions. There'll be lots of questions about why we make the decisions that we're going to make over the next few weeks, and the fans will want to know the answers. So they'll have to ask me the questions, and I'll have to answer them. So I would imagine very regularly we will have, whether it's forums or meetings like this, I'll be available to tell the fans what they want to know. How excited are you?
Unbelievably excited, nervous because it's a big commitment, but very excited. Yeah. I turned up at 2:00. Well, I went to bed at 2:00 this morning. I was up by 4, and I was waiting at 6 for someone to come in and open the door so I could get on with it. So just want to get on with it.